Hello, Georgetown. I'm Beverly Enos, and this is Spotlight Georgetown. As you can tell, it's a good thing I don't get paid around here because this is way too much fun. You can find us on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. You can find us at other times with some of the older shows, but those are our standard times. If you would like to learn how to run a camera, or you learn to edit, or if you would like to be in the hot seat next to me, I would love to have you come and join us. This is your cable TV, and this is part of what, when you pay your cable bill, this is part of what you get. So if you would like to learn how to do any of these things or borrow the equipment, please let me know. Now today we're talking to Carol Esposito, and Carol's kind of been many things through the years. So we're going to start and probably do it chronologically because I can remember it better that way.
Same here.
How long have you been in Georgetown?
We moved here Labor Day weekend in 1992.
It's funny, I moved my last house on Labor Day weekend. It's a good
Did
time
you really?
too.
It is. Yeah, we loved it.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah, it's nice and busy.
Yes.
So 1992, did you have children at the time?
Yes, we had been living in a one-bedroom apartment in Chelsea with our two active sons. And they were 2 and 9 months. So we couldn't wait to get into our house.
Why Georgetown of all places?
Well, we were house hunting, and John has this idea that if you visualize something, it will come to you. So we wanted to live on the North Shore, and we would drive around and find houses. And we found the house we wanted, but it was in Wenham, and there was no way we could afford it. And then we came upon Larry Kelly, and we said, could you build a nice little salt box colonial for us? And he did. So we're really happy that we came here.
So you've been here for quite a while.
Yes.
Now, how old are your kids now? You have 2 children.
I have 3, actually. I have a girl who's younger. She's 15, Mary Elena. She's 15, and she's a freshman. She goes to St. Mary's of Lynn. And she's a hoot because she chose St. Mary's because she wanted the biggest city high school she could find.
Which is not Georgetown.
I know. And then Joseph, our oldest, he was exactly 2 when we moved here. He was 2 on September 8th that year. He's a junior at University of Rhode Island. He'll be a senior in the fall. And I'm very proud of all my children. I have a soft spot for Joey because he's also going into teaching. And he's studying adaptive physical education and kinesiology and coaching at URI.
Okay.
So that's exciting. And then Christopher is our sophomore in college. He'll be a junior next year. He goes to Stonehill College, and he plays football there, and he's majoring in business. So, but more than any of those college accomplishments, I have to say that our kids keep us laughing all the time, and that's the best part.
I can say that. You can tell you're not a happy person at all. Now, I first met you in Women of Today, and you said you joined as soon as you moved into town.
Yes, I did. I did, 1992. Yep.
So we've known each other 20 years.
A long time.
And I've seen lots of things. After Women of Today, what other community service did you do through the years?
Sure. Well, Women of Today was my first group. I loved it because it was a great way to meet other women in town. And I felt that having 2 babies at home, I needed that female companionship.
Yes, you needed out of the house with talk to adults.
So then I moved on to, then they entered preschool, and Janet Owen asked me to be the chairman of the preschool parents group, and it was a brand new position. They hadn't had a group before, and she said, if you can make us $50 with a bake sale, we'll be happy. So we went out, and I got a group of moms together. We created a committee, and we raised funds for materials for the preschool.
So starting with Women of Today, having been president, you knew how to do all these things.
I did. I had a fundraising, what would I call it? A yen or something like that for fundraising, yeah.
Now, you seem to do community service following your children all the way through school.
Absolutely. I found that everywhere they went, I wanted to be. So when Joseph and Chris were in preschool, I did that. Then they entered Pearly, and I immediately got involved with the PTA. And I just moved with them up the ranks. So at one point, Christopher said to me, Mom, I really love you, but could you stop volunteering at my school? I need a break.
My daughter kind of said the same thing once.
Yeah,
but we were the room mothers that would go in and read and cook
Absolutely.
And all those things.
I was always reading in the library, and he would roll his eyes.
Now, why do you think community service is so important in a town like Georgetown?
I think a town like Georgetown is all about the people, and it's really all about giving. In a small town like Georgetown, we don't have the resources of a big city. We don't have the grant money that pours into a big city from the state, for example. And we're really a people-rich town. We're a town where the people make the difference.
People rich.
Yeah, I really believe that. And I think that Georgetown gives a wonderful opportunity to anybody who wants to volunteer. It's so small that you can pretty much I had never presidented an organization before, and there I was, and it was fun.
I hadn't either. That's how I get started. It's all their fault. At what point did you, now, while the children were being raised, did you work
Yes.
outside of the home as well?
That's complicated. I did until I was a lawyer, and then I taught law.
Okay, but
And
when did you decide to become a lawyer? Because when I knew you, you weren't anywhere near there.
because I was at home with my kids.
Right. So
I had left my practice for a while. And what I did was I became a lawyer fresh out of college. I went to law school.
okay.
And then I became a lawyer, and I really had every ambition to be a judge, a senator. I wanted to be the next Paul Tsongas. Then I met John and fell in love, and we decided to have children, and everything changed.
And everything goes out the window.
Because I realized that I couldn't be a good mom and also have a really high-powered career. So I left my practice, and I did a few cases here and there, but I basically left my practice. And then I raised my children, and as they moved on to college and married, got into high school, I said, I want to get back out there as a teacher.
So then you went back to school.
I did. I went back to Gordon College. I just graduated Saturday with my Master's of Ed in moderate disabilities. My whole life I wanted to be a teacher. My mom was a teacher. My brothers are teachers. So I always wanted to be a teacher. And I knew that when I finished raising my children, that's what I would do.
Then why did you go to law school in the first place?
Good question. My father was a lawyer, and I felt
Scratching my head
pressure.
here.
That was in the 70s when the women's lib was huge. My mother, in fact, said to me, don't ever become a teacher because it's a women's profession. You can do more. Go to law school. So I obediently went to law school, and I have to tell you, I hated the fighting. I'm not a fighter. I'm much more of a consensus builder. I'm more nurturing. So I did it for 25 years off and on.
What kind of law?
And I did family law. I taught poverty law at clinics at Harvard where we taught students how to practice law. And then when I moved up to Georgetown and came home to be with my children, I would pick up mediation cases here or there, but I never had a full practice in it. But my focus was family law. And the reason I went into teaching was that in all my cases, it was the children that pulled at my heart. And I always saw that the children in the divorce cases, gosh, they were in the middle of all this conflict, and where were they safe at school? Where did they feel embraced at school? Hence my desire to go out and teach.
So you have a bachelor's, and you have...
And I have a Juris Doctorate. I have a doctorate in jurisprudence, and now I have a Master's of Ed.
Okay.
To
And the
teach.
Master's of Ed is new.
That's new, brand new as of Saturday.
Brand new.
3 days old, this past Saturday. Yippee!
How many years did it take you to do that?
It was 3.5 years of nighttime work, papers, study groups. My children were soldiers throughout that. They were so supportive.
And exactly what is the master's in?
My master's is a Master's of Education in Moderate Disabilities.
Okay.
And because...
What are moderate disabilities?
Sure, great question. Moderate disabilities are children that can be mainstreamed into the regular ed classes, but need a lot of academic support applications. But the real work that I do is helping them with their academic support. I tutor chemistry and algebra and English literature, and I give them all the support they need to be successful in the general education classrooms.
A lot of work.
A lot of work, and I love it.
It seems now that there are more children involved in these special types of programs than there were 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Is it because the programs are better, or because we know more about what causes it?
Right. Absolutely, both. The No Child Left Behind and the special ed laws all came in the early 90s. So that's about 20 years ago.
Right.
So that requires the school districts to target and test and screen for learning disabilities. So all of a sudden, we weren't screening the children. All of a sudden, we're screening them. So all of a sudden, we're locating children that need help. That's one reason. And the second reason is that I think as we do special education, we adapt our programs to the needs of the children in the district. For example, in Georgetown, we've recently started a Compass program for children with autism, so they don't have to be out at other programs, leaving behind their family, their friends, their sports programs. They can be in our district, which I love. And then we have a life skills program, which I'm in, which teaches, I can't even say the word teach, it facilitates success for the children, facilitates their success. So in our district, I think we've done a good job of adapting our programs to the needs of the children in our population. And it works well.
I see. When my kids were in school, they didn't even do testing. So
That's right.
That would be
That's
that
right,
would be
exactly.
exactly the time
That's
change,
right.
because those were their graduation
That's exactly
years.
right. Yep.
So you have been tutoring in Georgetown. What have you been doing for the school system? What is your job right now?
My job is special education tutor, and I do a combination of life skills tutoring for students that may need some extra support around, like I said, job applications, preparing for college. But then I also I directly teach a physical science class, an alt physical science class for a few students that have trouble being in a large classroom.
Okay.
And I also teach an Algebra 2 class for a senior student who just is very, very bright. And I love working with him, and it just works that it's a one-on-one class for him. The other things I do is I sit in math classes, English classes, history classes, and then I give support within the classes, within the classrooms to the kids.
So some of the kids that are mainstreamed.
Exactly.
You're there with them.
I'm there. I'm there for everybody. You know, I help everybody. Yeah.
Now that you have your master's, are you going to be able to continue doing this work?
Absolutely. What I hope to do, if they'll have me, I hope to stay right where I am. And I hope to maybe do a practice of academic support or life skills in Georgetown High School, because I feel like I can give the most to my home district. I love this town. And so there's a real benefit to being with the kids that I know.
The next question was going to be, how great is it and what does it feel like working in your own town?
Marvelous. Marvelous. Because even if I don't know the particular child, I'll know the child's mom or big sister or coach, and I feel a real warmth towards the kids. I feel that I can really excel at helping them because I care about them so much. They're wonderful.
Now, everybody that becomes a teacher that I know had someone who inspired them.
Yes.
Mrs. Morehouse was my daughter's inspiration. Who was yours?
My mom. My mom. And I'll tell you why. My mom's 78. She was a single parent of 5 children, left with no income, just no income. And she immediately started subbing because she had a degree in teaching but had left it to raise us. I was 12 at the time. My youngest brother was a baby. She went back to teaching, and I saw how hard she worked. And the night after night, she would literally give my little brother a bath while she corrected papers. Like, you know, she's always working.
Multitasking,
you know,
as only women can do.
Oh, exactly. But she was the teacher who everybody wanted for their 4th grade child to have. And she was a teacher who, when it was time for the kids to come back for their reunions, would go visit Mrs. Bolger. And I admire her so much for her strength and for doing that. And I have to say that I think of her often. When I hit a dilemma, I think, what would Mom do? And then it helps.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yes.
Now, what is the GEF Award, Education Partner of the Year? What is it first?
Yes. It is an award for somebody who's been a partner of education in our town in a particular year or in a series of years. So a true team player, a true supporter of the education system.
And that is given out at the gala.
It is, yes.
With some other awards that are given out.
Yes.
And the winner this year happens to be you.
Yay. I was really honored.
Yeah, what does it mean to have received this award?
Well, Beverly, it means the world to me because, first of all, you know, volunteerism just is in my blood. My mom did it, like you. You know. So it's in my blood, and it's something that I'm really proud of. But it's also something that doesn't often get recognized because, especially if you're a mom and you volunteer, because people think, well, that's what moms should do.
That's your job,
right? You know, so for 20 years of doing all these different school-based fundraisers and school-based nonprofits and foundations, I loved it. I truly never expected to get recognized for it. But when I got the call from my neighbor, Stephanie Thompson, and she said, we've selected you to be the partner of education for this year, I really said to her, are you calling the right person? Because I think too often we women think that we're going to do all this work for our community, and really we do it gratis, we do it because we love it. That's enough. But when she called to tell me about that award, I cried. I mean, I was just so honored, so honored, especially from our town.
Yeah.
It means the world. It means the world.
So where to next?
Where to next? I'm going to, now that I finished my degree and I'm ready to launch, I'm going to dig in and be the best special education teacher I can possibly be. I love it. I say to my husband every day, and I am not joking, for 25 years, whenever I had to go to court or do any, I would say, when I get up in the morning, I can't wait to see my kids at school. Can't wait.
Yeah,
I love them.
That's how I feel about my elders. Yeah,
Isn't that great?
it is to be able to walk into work and say, "I'm here to have a good time."
Yes, I know, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're people, so, it works.
And I think your joyfulness, it must be contagious to the kids too.
Well, I make them laugh a lot, and I let them call me Ms. Espo. One of the boys even calls me Espo, and I say, as long as you get your history homework done, it's fine with me.
Whatever it takes to get the job done. Well, I
Touche.
wanted to say thank you so much. This has been
Thank
so
you.
much fun.
Oh, thanks.
has
It was a
been-
blast.
Congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
award. It was good to see
Thanks
you
for
again.
having me on.
Yes, and
You're a great friend.
We'll see each other at Women
Sounds
of
good.
Today reunions and all kinds of things.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I'm Beverly Enos. This is Spotlight Georgetown. Don't forget, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Thank you for joining us today. Bye for now.